the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine, from a place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome, but nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And tonight we're talking the final countdown. I've got my regular co-host Roly on, and I'm also joined by Billy from Toon Review. How are you guys? All right?
Good, thanks.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. Right, guys, before we get into the show, if you like what you see, then please smash the like. It does help the channel up the search results, so smash those likes. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please smash the subscribe and come join the community here. And also that bell notification tells when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. So I've just got some comments, so we'll see who's in the chat. Jake's first in, and he's shouting, Leicester, 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 Leicester. Let's hope so. Mason says, no caps, please. Thanks, Mason. BT says, good evening, all. Good evening to you. And Jake says, hello. Mighty Mag, come on, you foxes. Evening, Tony, Roly, guest and all. It's Billy. Bia says, evening, Tony, Roly, Billy in chat. Good evening, Bia Viking. Jem reflects. Hello, lads. Hi to you, Jem. Hope you're well. Lee says, evening, Tony, Roly, and nice to see you, Billy, says Lee.
Hi, Lee.
And Gareth says, evening, Tony, Roly, and Billy. Happy Monday. Well, yeah, it would be a happier Monday if Leicester turned Liverpool over tonight. And, that's what we're all hoping for. I mean, Billy, I'm just going to come to you. I mean, Saturday's game against Leeds United, another 12:30 kickoff. We don't seem to like these 12:30s. How did you find that game? I mean, it was a strange game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was frustrating. We're not playing our strongest player in his stronger position. That's the first thing. I think that he's actually playing as centre forward, despite what Callum Wilson's doing with the goals. He's stifled out on the left wing. And we've got other players who can play there. He could have played Ellie Anderson. He could have played Maxi for 50 minutes or whatever. Joe Linton's not suited to that right centre midfield role either. And the defence are starting to be, let's say, fatigued. And there's errors happening week in, week out. And it's all adding up to frustrating results. Joe Willock Saturday could have had a fantastic game. Could have been the catalyst to us winning. Except he thought in his own head, by the way he was playing, that he had to do it all himself. He was really selfish. Beating plays for fun, not playing any last balls. So there was a few frustrating things about it. Add to that refereeing. And Leeds turned up for once. And credit to Sam Allardyce for getting his team motivated for that game.
Yeah, I thought with the new manager bounce, and the Allardyce factor as well, that was a curve ball thrown in there. And, but again, it's, we've had to settle for a point. But a point, like I say, is better than nothing. It's a positive. So, it's a point towards Champions League, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a glass half full, so it's a point closer to where we need to be. Would have preferred to be 3 points closer, but it's a point closer. I thought defensively it was probably one of the worst games we played this season. I thought in the first goal, How's Ayling free at the back post? Everyone's too far forward. That's too far right. So Ayling was free because Isak didn't track back. Well, he tracked him back to the box, but didn't keep going with him, which is kind of understandable because he's a forward. But surely Burns should have been further out left with Botman. Again, Botman was in no man's land between where the defenders got the original header. So it's a bit. It's like they've lost the sort of defending dust that they had, where they're stopping everything. Joe Linton's clumsy for the penalty, but an excellent save by Pope. I mean, the first time I thought, oh, why didn't he gather it in? But as Bamford was following in, so the safe thing was to put it out for a corner. I thought Wilson was Mr. Iceman for the penalties, especially the second one. Or did they try all the dark arts and shithousery to put him off? Didn't work.
Yeah.
At that point, we should have beaten them. We were a little bit open when we were attacking. And obviously, Isak Coles' run for a second. Maxi's tap in gets us all 3 points. We did have other chances. It's just unfortunate that a junior guy tripped Gordon because he was one-on-one with the keeper. And then you get that wicked deflection of Trippier that wrong foots Pope. So it happens, but we've only got ourselves to blame that we didn't win that game. We did that. I think we made the cardinal sin, and against a relegation team with a new manager, so we let them go ahead.
Well, you could actually see in that game we should have had a third penalty because Wilson, McKennie on Wilson, surely that should have been checked as a penalty because, you know, he leant into him and pushed him down. So that's a penalty all day in my eyes. Do you agree with that one, Billy?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% it was a penalty. Really clumsy challenge. Just basically pushed him over in the box in full view of the referee. And even VAR should have seen it. Ridiculous that they didn't. We know why they didn't. The first goal I actually blame Botman for fully because he's basically ball watching. He's watching the ball, not watching it, not aware of anyone around him. And Dan Burn is trying to cover that. Why did he shout to him? Sven, mark somebody for Christ's sake. But he went and tried to cover him. So that's what's left Dalen on his own. It's Sven Botman's really shocking error, to be honest. You know, for someone that's so good to be that. You know, to be that asleep at that stage was ridiculous. It really was.
And I saw on social media, a lot of people were saying that Nick Pope should have pushed it wide rather than back into the field. When you look at it again, when the header came in, it was actually past him and he was actually scooping it back from the line. So there's no way that he could push it wide. He just did well to keep it out. And he was very close to getting his leg in the way of the rebound. So
I've played as a goal.
He got to the ball in the first place, wasn't it? Whether we could bury it anyway or not, the fact he got to it was really miraculous. My point,
I mean, I've played as a goalkeeper, and I can tell you now, when you make an instinctive save like that, you're not going to know where it goes, but it's just your natural instinct is to keep that ball out the net, and that's what he did. He did his part of it, just didn't have the defenders clearing up afterwards. It should have been there to mop up, but. You know, we should have put more in a challenge in and Rodrigo getting that header in as well. I mean, he possibly shouldn't have gotten that header in.
That's Botman, yeah.
If Botman's where he should have been, Dan Burn might be in a position to challenge for the rebound. But we're not going to. I'm not going to be too hard on Botman because he's had an excellent season, and one game doesn't remove his class. You know, he just needs to do better. And I think the whole team needs to be better defensively.
I think it's fatigue. Well, I think there's no depth, is there? There's no depth. They're all playing week in, week out. No one's getting a rest. Even Leeds had more depth in their squad. They can afford to rotate Greenwood with Forshaw, for instance. You know, players were coming in for yesterday's game, Saturday's game. Sorry, we can't do that. We're not afforded with that kind of depth in our squad.
I think our squad's not too bad for substitutes when everybody's fit.
Yeah,
it's when we get one or two fit, two injured. Obviously got Longstaff is out and Murphy is out. Now it's difficult to change things from the bench. And I think because Longstaff was injured, I think that's why he started with Isak out wide. I don't like it. I thought they were better when they had Isak moved into the centre, was playing behind Wilson.
I did.
If you're going to play them both together, they need to do it like that, in my opinion. But when you play Isak wide as one of our best players, you're sort of isolating him. And he's a little bit removed from the game. When he's in the middle, he's at the centre of the game. It doesn't matter if he moves wide because he can come back into the centre. And I prefer playing just the one of either Isak or Wilson, because
I agree.
if you play one for 60 minutes, centre halves get used to playing against that player, be it Wilson or Isak. And when you switch them, they've got a totally different problem to deal with. They've been used to, let's say Wilson started on Saturday, they'll be used to a strong physical centre half, or centre forward, sorry. They'll be in a battle. They wouldn't have to be as quick. They don't have to be studious of what he's doing with the ball, because he's not that skillful player. Then switch them round. They've got someone that's quick and very skillful. It's not necessarily fair to as well on the physical side, but it's not exactly a shrinking violet when it comes to the physical challenges. But he can beat you with his skill, and and I think having that contrast of styles to change the game is really good. I don't think it works so well as when you have the two starting and then you take one off and bring Isak into the middle. Because by that time he's done all his work and he's not fresh.
Isak was knackered Saturday. He was blowing, wasn't he? I mean,
yeah, he was.
If I actually thought Wilson looked fresher than Isak did. I thought actually Isak put a bigger shift in than Wilson, and Wilson looked fresher than Isak. But obviously Eddie went that way.
Yeah.
Do you think he starts with Isak? Do you think he starts with Wilson on the bench on Thursday, Billy, or do you think Isak starts on the bench?
No, I think he starts with Isak. I think he has to.
Yeah.
I think part of taking Wilson off is managing his fitness.
Yeah.
Because we know how he's come back from a hamstring and he's not played a full game. And I think that's why he's in that's part of the reason he's in such good form. And the thing about him at the moment, it doesn't matter whether you start him or bring him on, he's still scoring goals. So having a fresh Wilson seems to be a recipe for goals at the moment, whether it's at the start or the end of the game. So maybe you start with Isak, get in front, bring Wilson on to finish the game. A bit like they do in baseball, where they have a pitcher that they bring on in the last innings to finish the game off.
Yeah. Good evening to Expo in the Northeast. He says, evening, Tony, Billy and Roly. Jem says, I'm sure Billy once said Allardyce was his all-time favourite Newcastle manager. Is that correct, Billy?
Yeah.
Because he certainly wasn't mine.
I always say things like that. I had the misfortune of watching him play for a while when he was at Coventry. He managed like he played, but this way. Kicked people in the air. He loved it.
Oh, it is a no-nonsense, no compromise centre-half. I remember I think it's when he was playing at Bolton. I had him on one of my football cards. I think he was playing at Bolton at the time. Yeah,
I think that's where he started, wasn't it, Bolton?
Yeah.
He was there with Peter Reid, wasn't he, when Peter Reid started his career there and all.
Coffee, hi, Tony, Billy, Roly and all. Good evening, Coffee.
Coffee.
Wayne says, hello, Tony, Billy, Roly and all in chat. Good evening to you, Wayne. BT says, over the last two games, we have gaps through the middle. Our midfielders were poor. The defence was not any better. The defence is creaking a little bit, isn't it, Billy?
Yes, I'll say it's
not the
fatigue. Trippier's played every game this season. It shows. His performances are getting slightly shabby as the season wears on. Dan Burn never got a rest. Botman very rarely got a rest.
Fabulous shares played every game, pretty much every game.
So,
it's a long season, and it's especially the way we play.
Exactly.
As you said earlier, Billy, the problem is we haven't got the depth in the squad to be able to rotate, which we're going to need for next season, because we are in Europe. Now we just got to make sure it's the Champions League rather than the Europa.
I think if Lascelles had been fit for the last couple of weeks, I think he might have had a game. I think he might have played against Leeds on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it, Lascelles, is that last season everyone was thinking, oh, bloody hell, Lascelles is playing. this season, when he's played really well.
Yeah.
It's not let us down at all. And it would have given us that opportunity.
In the hard fixes as well, hasn't he? Man City away, Liverpool away.
Yeah, and he was really good in both of those games. Yeah,
I agree.
And again, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's because Eddie said he doesn't like changing a back four that's settled, and I think that's the reason that Matt Targett hasn't had a lock in. He's played a bit, he's come on, but I don't think that's why it's not started. And I think that we lose something going forward with Burn as over Target. And defensively, though Burn is good, he's got a turning circle of an aircraft carrier when the defenders are running at him. Once he gets his legs going, he's pretty quick. But if it's about pointing in the right direction is half the problem. But he's not been taken to the cleaners once for a complete game. He may start off a little bit shaky like he did against Manchester United with Anthony, but once he figures out what they're doing, he's solid. But again, I think they look tired. I think it's not so much physically because all these guys are super fit. Yeah. It's probably mentally because obviously you're running this system which is a high intensity, and now you've got a system where it's had to change because one of the cogs has gone with Sean Longstaff being out. And I think a lot of people, I exclude myself from this because I've been championing Sean Longstaff for most of the season, didn't realise how important he was to the way that we play, because some of the gaps that we're leaving at the back would have been filled by Longstaff when he's doing his covering.
This is the thing I've been saying. I mean, Billy, we'll go back to the January transfer window. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we sold Shelby on the last day to Forest. Do you think that was a mistake, Billy? Because now that Sean Longstaff's out, we could have had Longstaff doing that job. What Longstaff does, Shelby could have done that job. Or should we have got a number 6 in that window? Have we missed an opportunity?
I think it was a mistake. I thought so at the time, to be honest. I thought sacrificing 12 million quid for potentially the hundreds of millions that you get in Champions League football, which I actually thought at the time, because we were sitting in third then. I thought it was a mistake, and I think they dropped the ball there, to be honest. Especially not to get a replacement in for him.
I think they tried to get a replacement in. I mean,
but it was too late. Once it was that late, they said no, we're not doing it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. But again, it's all sort of hindsight. I mean, it's only really now that we're bemoaning it. But when you look at our run since the transfer window, we've lost, 2 games and drawn. How many have we drawn? It's about 1 or 2, and we've won all the rest.
Not many, yeah.
3 games.
I did say at the time that we should never have done it. It was a potential massive gamble to gamble 12 million against what Champions League football gets you. It really is a massive gamble. I know they've got our idea to FFP, but if we don't make Champions League on the back of having no depth in the midfield, they've lost an awful lot of money for that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is a gamble, but I think the thing that we've got to bear in mind is that the Liverpool and Manchester United and Brighton would all rather be in our position.
Of course they would. Yeah, definitely.
We've got 3 winnable games. Brighton's going to be very tough. I think there were a number of factors to them thumping Arsenal yesterday. One of them is that Arsenal were really poor. And the second one is that Brighton performed so badly at home against Everton. They wanted to put it right. So they won't necessarily have those 2 factors. They are a good side and have been all season. But so we need to apply ourselves properly. We need to start defending like we did at the beginning of the season.
I mean, Bia's comment there, he says, I think Thursday we have to see Maxi on the left and Isak in the middle. I agree with that because I thought Maxi looked good when he come on. He remember he's still getting back to match fitness. So even if he plays an hour on Thursday, it's an hour extra fitness for him. Alan says Evening, guys. After watching Brighton boss Arsenal for a full match, Newcastle's going to have to play at their best to win on Thursday. It's well impressive Brighton after a 5-1 defeat come back like that. Well, the thing is, Alan, let's be honest. Arsenal looked shot to pieces yesterday. They looked all over the place. I think because with Man City beating Everton, Arsenal knew it was going to be tough after that to win the league because Man City's got 3 games, where Arsenal's only got 2 left. And even Ramsdale looked very shaky in goal, I thought, yesterday. Especially for that third goal, the way he just pushed the ball out and it landed at the feet of the Brighton player. And we saw De Zerbi do the Mourinho celebration down the touchline.
I
think the reason Arsenal lost was because the pressure of the title got to Arsenal. And the thing is, coming to Newcastle on Thursday is going to be a totally different game for Brighton because we've got something to fight for. I mean, Arsenal had the title to fight for, but I think you've seen over the past few weeks, Arsenal's started to look a bit, they've been lacking in places, and that performance of Sambinelli against Southampton, they thought they could just turn up and beat Southampton, and that was the problem. They went 2-0 down early. The same at Bournemouth, they went down. They were losing that game till they come back to win a 3-2, but they can't keep doing that every game. But I think the pressure of Man City's got to them.
I think there's a bit of after the Lord's Mayor parade as well, because they got so hyped and they're so up for the game against us.
Yeah.
And they're so elated to win that game. They thought, all right, we've done the job now. And then they just weren't at it for the next game. Because the Premier League is unforgiving. If you're not up for a game, if you don't turn up, you'll get beaten. It doesn't matter who you're playing. I mean, you look at some of the teams that Southampton have beaten. You look at who Nottingham Forest have beaten. Leeds went to Anfield and won. You've got to turn up. And when you're playing teams at the top, you've got to be at your best.
Yeah. Coffee says, wasn't it earlier this season that Brighton outplayed us at the Amex? Trippier had the goal line clearance and Brighton battered our goal. Yeah, I mean, Paul pulled off a terrific save, but if Graham Scott hadn't blew his whistle when he did, then that goal Callum Wilson scored would have stood. But because he blew the whistle before the ball hit the net, VAR couldn't get involved. So, we were outdone there by the referee. Lewis says, I don't think we should start Wilson and Alexander up front together. No, I don't think so either. Daniela says, guys, you're not being in Europe, so how can you say that a team tired? Just wait till next year when you have European football. West Ham have just played 53 games and could be playing 57 games this season.
Because
we haven't had football.
There is a certain element to that. But you've got to remember, no one plays with the intensity that we do.
Yeah.
And for the length of time, we are so intense for the whole 90 minutes. That's where the time has come through. And that's why we need to strengthen the squad so we can rotate, so we can continue to play that way all season.
Bias says, when we bring Wilson on from the bench, he can use 90 minutes of intense energy in 45 minutes against tired defences. It's a good point. Yeah. Godfather says, evening, Tony, Roly, Billy, Bob, and chat. Good evening, Godfather. Ian Fleming. Hi, Tony, Roly, and Billy. Hi, Ian. Sefton's in the house. Sefton Mag, evening all. Evening, Sefton. BT says, Isaac Wilson, Murphy up front. Miggy is not 100% fit to start, in my opinion. I mean...
I can't... I mean, Murphy wasn't fit for Saturday. And I think... This is one you can't believe I'm saying. I think we missed him. I think we got so used to playing with him, getting those balls whipped in from the right-hand side. I think we missed that.
Yeah.
Along with Sean's energy and work rate. And I'm not sure what Eddie's going to do, but I wouldn't start with Wilson and Isak in a 3. If you're going to play him, you've got to have Isak playing as like a number 10.
I don't mind him doing it if we're chasing the game, but to start with it, you leave yourself nowhere to go if you do have to chase the game.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think that's what I was alluding to earlier when I was saying when one comes on, it changes the type of way that we play or the player they're playing against. They haven't got much time to adapt.
Yeah. Italy Jet says, hi, fellas. Hi, Italy Jet. Hope you're well. A West Ham fan.
Good lad.
Good lad. Yeah, good guy. Sefton says, hi, Tony, Roly and Billy. Hi, Sefton. Jem says, didn't Allardyce have a 100% win record for England? Not bad for a bungling manager. Exactly, he did. Yes, he had 100. Yeah, and the shortest stay as well, didn't he? 67 days, wasn't it? Lewis says, hi, Sefton Mag. Lee says, I think the ankle injury is catching up with Bruno. It is, isn't it? I mean, you can tell he's struggling, Billy, can't you?
Plus, he's trying to do the work of two men, really, because Joe Linton's totally anonymous on that right and centre midfield position. I think Joe Linton has to come up to the left for Thursday's game as well. Because if anything, Brighton are very good in the centre of the park, and that's where they kind of dominated us at the Amex. Never seen Bruno outplayed as before that. Caicedo totally outplayed him at the Amex.
Yeah. Night and Gaming says, I love Burn to get the feeling he'll be bench next season, but got cover to have. I'd even keep Lascelles if he's happy to stay. I don't think Lascelles will stay. I think he'll be gone this summer, in all honesty. Sefton says, good job. I'm at work tonight with the pool playing. Oh, yeah, because your wife's a Liverpool fan, isn't she?
Yeah, so you might have to get your armour on, Sefton.
Well, if they get beat, you might have find your locks are changed in the morning when you get in. She might have had the locksmith out overnight. Daniel says, I think Europa would have been a better league for you to play if in your first season in Europe you'd have more chance of winning the Champions League, which you're meeting the big boys.
Yeah, it's all about squad development, Daniela. We've got a really, really thin squad. We get in the Champions League, the FFP rises. We've got unlimited money if we can spend it, and the squad gets improved like that, and we have more depth to the squad, so we can kind of cope with that. We're not going to win the Champions League the first season, obviously not, but it's all experience and it's all extra money.
Yeah. I'd be even if we got out the group stage and to the next round or whatever, but because that's progress straight away, isn't it, to get out the group stage? So,
I mean, if we do make the Champions League, and I think we will, I wouldn't be too disappointed if we ended up third and dropped into the UEFA, the Europa League, because it's the experience of playing these big-time European games. I mean, you don't want to finish bottom because if you finish third, you drop into the Europa, and you can have a run at that.
I mean, Night and A Gaming says I would let Isaac Hayden stay, as he's always plays well as a DM for us. I think he's worth it as cover. Means we can spend elsewhere. Then I'm not sure. I don't think Isaac Hayden's the answer, to be honest with you. He's certainly not Champions League quality, that's for sure. LA Coffee says Shelby's been a woeful for Forest and joined them, and Wood injured not long after joining them. Yeah, Wood played the games and then got injured, and £19 million comes into Newcastle's bank account, so it's not bad all round.
Shelby's a funny player, isn't he? Because certain managers he just didn't do it for. Eddie Howe was the one he could do it for, and obviously Steve Cooper isn't.
Yeah. Alan says no Europa position where we are in anything but champions is let down. Yeah.
It's not a letdown. It's disappointing because we've been in the Champions League positions for so long. But at the beginning of the season, if they'd offered you Europa League, you'd have snatched the hands off.
Well, I said before a ball was kicked, I said 7th place. So, that's Conference League, and what West Ham are in. Daniela, she says, because she's a West Ham fan, she says the same advice on West Ham fan. Newcastle are going to have to learn to play in Europe. You don't do it in the Champions League. I mean, yeah, we're going to have to learn to play in Europe. That's a thing. But,
a lot of the thing is, played in Europe before, haven't they? An awful lot of that squad have. You think Trippier, Botman, Bruno, a lot
Joe
of
Linton even for Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
He's
sacrificed
dad. I mean, we've got experience, but at the end of the day, you're in the league to win it, and if you don't win it, you want to finish as high as you can. If as high as you can ends you up in the Champions League, you take it. You don't turn it down. Say, oh, we're not ready for it yet. Well, we've got to get ready for it if we make it.
Yeah. Alan says, I disagree, Tony. You're doing what Spurs did to us, discredit the opposition. No, all I said, Alan, was Arsenal just did not look great yesterday, and Brighton were all over them because Arsenal looked nervous. They've lost the bottle. Arsenal have some problem at us. Lower numbers, says Night and E Gaming. Good evening, lads and all chat, says Andrew DB. Good evening, Andrew.
Andrew.
Coffee says, off topic, he says Cardiff are taking legal action or claiming 110 million euros compensation from FC Nantes in damages for Salah.
Wow.
That's, yeah. Good luck to them on that one. Lee says, Arsenal, the jigsaw team, they start to break up in the box. Gunnar still had a bit of hope, but Brighton were excellent discount at our peril. I'm not discounting Brighton, Alan. I think they've been terrific this season. I think that, De Zerbi, I think, took them to another level after Potter. Potter, you can't, you've got to see he done well for Brighton and he got them where they are, but De Zerbi's carried it on. No, I don't think them at all, but and they've had a great season. But at the end of the day, we want the 3 points, so it's going to be a cracking game. It'll be an open game, I think, on Thursday. That's for sure. Jem says, I saw Brighton away earlier this season. We weren't at our best, but hopefully we'll do better at home. Yeah, I totally agree, Jem. Absolutely. We were fatigued also, trained like we are with high intensity, says Pierre. Yeah, we do, mate. Absolutely. Billy, we've got 3 games to go. So we start off at Brighton on Thursday at home. Then we've got Leicester at home.
Yeah.
We've got to target 6 points from them games, haven't we?
You'd think so. Yeah. You'd think so, without a doubt. If someone had said to you at the beginning of the season, with your last 3 games, you need to win 2 to qualify for the Champions League, you'd have bit their arms off. And their legs.
Oh, God, yeah.
And declared them insane for even asking the question in the first place. So, it's a massive, massive, massive chance for us. 2 home games, obviously, where you think you probably want to get your 6 points from. Don't really fancy going to Stamford Bridge winning something on the last day of the season. As poor as they've been, they are liable to turn up at any given time, and you can guarantee it'll be against us. So the home games are a massive opportunity to do that, and hopefully, all being well, we will do that.
If Liverpool don't get a win tonight, that helps us out. And then Liverpool have got Villa at home on Saturday, and I know a lot of people are going around, Liverpool will win that, they'll smash Villa. No, they'll not necessarily, because I think Villa will turn up at Liverpool because they're fighting to get in the Europa League, so they won't be going to Liverpool and rolling over for them, that's for sure. Do you think that's a hard game for Liverpool on Saturday, Billy?
Yeah.
Well, at home, of course it is. They're playing for they're trying to get European football also. Leicester tonight are fighting for the lives or should be. They haven't been as late, but you think at some stage they're going to turn up for a fight. Let's hope it's not next Monday, but you think it's going to be a tough couple of games for Liverpool. And if they lose to Leicester tonight, we only need 3 points, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots of twists and turns before everything's decided. But as long as we match what Manchester United do, we're in the Champions League. It's not a case of winning games. It's just not doing worse than Manchester United. Because if we're level on points with Man United, in the games we've got left, 3 games we've got left, we're not going to make up 22 goals in goal difference. So we've got to match what they do or get 6 points, whichever is least.
Can you see a shock result today, Billy, or do you think Liverpool will win it?
I'd be surprised if Liverpool didn't win tonight, if I'm perfectly honest. But you never know.
Yeah, it's football. Who thought that the team that scored the fewest goals in the league, 25, would rock up at Brighton and score 5?
Yeah, you're right.
That's why we love football, because you can get these anomalies.
Leicester have got the players that can turn up and put in a performance, haven't they? It's just that centre back partnership that worries me. Feces is feces.
Feces, well, he is.
Soyuncu and Soyuncu. The 2 of them, they're an absolute way to happen, but hopefully they can put someone else's head on today or someone else's boots.
When you run at them, they part like the Red Sea.
They do, yeah.
Well, he scored 2 goals against Liverpool, didn't he? But they were own goals.
We should sign Victor Moses to play against them too.
Yeah. God.
We're all getting all biblical now, are we?
Yeah.
So
But I mean, that's it. I mean, who's your tip to go down, Billy? I mean, I look at this now and I think I still see Leicester, Leeds, and have gone with Southampton. I think.
You see, Everton's running is probably the worst, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
They got Wolves away and then Bournemouth home.
I'm still thinking maybe Everton and Leeds.
Yeah.
I think Leicester will get out of it.
I've just got a feeling they've got quality-wise. Out of the three, you'd say Leicester were the better side out of the three, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, but they've just.
But having said
so
that, if they do get out of it, it means they're probably going to get something out of us. So, yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's really, really tight this year.
I mean, it's hard to see what's going to happen because it's so close down there. I think that Forest are about a point away from safety. I think that was a very valuable point for them at the weekend, especially when they went behind to get back in it. And that win they had against Southampton is pivotal to them because it keeps them out of the bottom three, and they've moved a point further away, especially with Everton getting beat. I'd love to see Everton down. I'd love to see them down. I really would.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to be tight. It's going to go down to the last day as normal.
I mean, the thing is, when you think on Saturday, Leeds have got to go away to West Ham on Saturday. So that isn't going to be easy at the London Stadium. And after West Ham losing to Brentford yesterday, they're going to fight to make sure that they win that game because they need to win that game to stay up, West Ham as well. They're still in danger, really, even though you could probably say they're safe. But they just want to make sure.
I've got a mate that's a West Ham fan, and I keep asking him, why are West Ham trying to make sure they're still involved in the relegation fight? Because that's what they seem to do. They win a game, and then they'll lose 2 or 3 on the trot just to make sure that they're still in there with a shout of going down. I think
the other thing is, which people need to realise as well, because they're all saying, oh, well, at the end of the season, West Ham will probably just turn up and be on the beach. And I thought, well, not necessarily, because if they're in a European final, which they probably will be if they beat Alkmaar on Thursday, if they're in a European final, I'll tell you now, they won't be on the beach. Those players will be playing for a starting berth in that lineup. So they will be all out to be showing David Moyes and saying, look, I want to start in that European final and I'm going to make it hard for you to drop me. And so Leicester and Leeds will find it really tough against West Ham. So technically us and West Ham are having a big say in the bottom three.
Yeah.
Billy, did you bring Daisy, says Jake.
Yes, just over my shoulder there. See her in the bottom left of my picture. There she is.
Yeah. Gary says, good evening, lads.
Daisy.
Sorry, whose idea was Daisy?
On Teacher Friday, there used to be a section called Billy's Beef where I used to moan about something in the football world for the previous week, and she was the kind of title credits for it, where she was on a wrecking ball and that sort of stuff. And then the Billy's Beef kind of disappeared, but Daisy carried on. So yeah, that's where that came from.
She probably didn't have much to beef about this season.
and now she's bigger than the channel.
Alan says, evening, Tony, Billy, Roly and all. Good evening to you, Alan. The Mighty Win says, you can't judge our UCL squad until after the window. No, absolutely not. No, it's going to be a big summer. And Eddie's already said he wants to leave players. So, do you think we'll still go for Diaby in the summer, Billy?
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, definitely. We definitely need someone to go on that right side to start week in, week out, and use Mickey and Murphy as depth.
Yeah, definitely. I would use Mickey as an impact sub.
Yeah, I mean, also need someone on the left as well.
Craig says we could have started going.
Develops. We need more competition, basically, all over the pitch.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people weren't happy when they heard that we were linked with Scott McTominay. But I think we were linked. They were interested in him as a backup stroke competition for Sean Longstaff because he can play a similar type role. He's got the athleticism. He doesn't have to be a world beater because that's not what his role would be. I think Manchester United want too much for him. But I can understand why they'd go for someone like him.
Yeah, they want about 4 million too much for him, don't they? Let's be honest.
They probably wanted a relegation bonus as well.
You'd say Craig says, he says we could have started Gordon over Almiron on Saturday. Do you know what it is? I said that this would have been the ideal game on Saturday to start Gordon because of the atmosphere in there, the hostile atmosphere. Gordon, that's his type of game, playing in that atmosphere. He would have been better on the right, I think, than Almiron, to be fair. But it is what it is. But when he did come on, he didn't do too bad. And, if Firpo hadn't got a hold of him, he would have probably gone on and maybe scored. Who knows? But, that's why Firpo got the red card, professional foul. And then I don't know how he can complain to the referee afterwards saying, well, why you send me off? Well, hang on, you've just sent Anthony Gordon tumbling and his boots come flying off as well. So, you must have got a hold of him.
And there was no cover as well. He was through on goal.
And he'd been booked. And he still moaned.
Craig says if Willock and Joe Linton were on the left, Leeds don't score there first.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah. The Mighty Win says if you start them both, you've got to scrap a winger and go 4-4-2. Isak and Wilson, yeah. But Eddie won't play 4-4-2, will he? Daniela says the next season you're going to have to change how you play or doing what West Ham have done this season, going to play with a high intensity 2 to 3 games a week.
Well, that's why we need to strengthen the squad. So
exactly.
I don't think Eddie's prepared to sacrifice the way he wants to play. He's always wanted to play like this. So he's not going to change just because we're going to be in Europe. What he's going to do is going to bring more quality players and athletes in so that we've got the strength so that we can rotate and continue to play like that.
I mean, Craig says we should do what Everton did, drop off and then hit Brighton on the break. No good going toe-to-toe because they've got loads of pace to get in behind our defence that has no pace. We have to sit deeper. I tend to agree with that, actually.
I don't think that's in our DNA.
That's how it be at my home last season, though.
Yeah.
Brighton must have had 70% possession last season against us. So although we took an early lead, we did score 2 goals pretty early.
We did, yeah.
I think we need to start hot.
Yeah, an early goal would be fantastic for us.
Yeah, that settles the crowd.
Yeah.
And then it gets the onus on them to do something, and then we can use the pace we've got up front, and there's a lot of that, and really sort of kill them.
Test the ex-Smoggy in goal. Jason Steele.
Newton Aycliffe, and he's from.
Yeah. Bias says for every £1 you earn in the Europa League, you earn £4.50 in the Champions League. It's a big difference. Yeah. Absolutely. Mighty Win says Hayden was as good as a man off, but I'd love to see if Eddie can sprinkle his magic dust on Hayden. He had an injury hit season at Norwich as well. I think if there was something there, I think Eddie would have kept him last season. So I think that sort of tells you where Isaac Hayden's future lies. It doesn't lie at Newcastle, unfortunately. Alan says Brighton got some tricky fixtures, but on Tap Perth last night they will be contemplating maybe top 4. Other results affect them. Yeah, they have. Yeah, and
they can still qualify top 4, but it'd be a real shock if they did because the maths only just add up, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel says I meant winning the Europa League. I don't. Are you going to get the players you think till you be in the Champions League for 2 or 3 seasons? It's not just a fact of.
It's the biggest project in world football. Newcastle United is the biggest project in world football. Players, if we qualify for Champions League, will be killing themselves to get to Newcastle. Seriously.
Yeah, absolutely, Billy.
And it depends on what you mean by the players you think. because we're not thinking that we're going to get Messi or Neymar or Mbappe. But we're going to be getting players that are of a higher standard than we would have otherwise got. And then, obviously, Eddie will develop them. So as we're looking at the sort of like the Moussa Diabys, the James Madisons, and is it Slobozai?
Yeah, Szoboszlai, yeah.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai, that's it. And Kefran Turam, or Manu Kone. We're looking at really good players, but we're not looking at the superstars. I think the players that we're looking at are going to be more likely to come if we're in the Champions League compared to the Europa. Because everyone wants to play in the Champions League.
I mean, Gemma's hit the nail on the head. She says, obviously, I hope we qualify for Champions League and would be disappointed if we don't. But we've overachieved this season, better than any of us thought. But achieving the top 5 in the cup final, we've done well. Absolutely, Gem.
Absolutely.
And I mean, Billy, I've said this for a long time. I would like to see us get Manu Kone because I think he's a hell of a defensive midfielder. I've seen him up close and personal playing. When I went to King Power about a month ago to see England under 21s against France. Yes, England smashed them 4-0, but in the first half, he was the standout player for France. He controlled that midfield.
Big old unit as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a tank. I saw him play for Mönchengladbach end of last season. Absolutely just had a storming game. Against Munich as well. Dominated it. Yeah. Dominated against Munich.
And he's only young as well.
21, yeah. I mean, James Trafford pulled off a tremendous save to stop his shot going in the back of the net. But, he looked great. And then when France took him off early in the second half, the French team went to pieces. So he's going to have a bright future. I would like him at the town. But there again, if we go for Kefren Turam, just as good. Marcus Thuram, we should be all over that. But I see Grimaldo's gone to Bayer Leverkusen.
Okay.
That's a shock.
Where's he gone?
Leverkusen.
Has he? Oh, wow.
From Benfica.
That's a strange one.
So that to me says that Mitchell Bakker will be leaving Leverkusen in the summer then. So could that be destination Newcastle? To play alongside his mate Botman.
We've been linked with him before, haven't we?
Tried to get him in the January after the takeover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we do like going back in for our for targets we don't get.
Yes, Brighton are a very good side, very technical, hard work, and it's a different kind of challenge. We have to be at our best to beat them. Absolutely. I mean, when you think McAllister was man of the match in the World Cup final, I mean, it just shows you the quality he's got. De Zerbi's actually come out and said that in the summer he probably thinks McAllister and Casido may not be at the club after the summer. There's talks of Liverpool, 70 million for McAllister. Brighton just seem to pull these players off, don't they, Billy? And, the scouting they've got there is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
I heard it.
I heard someone, I'm not sure if it's one of the chats here or on Twitter, someone saying, oh, look at all the players Brighton have got in their scouting team. So why don't we get their scouts? I was thinking, well, we've got the guy that set up the scouting network.
Andrew says, I'm never nervous before a game, but I am for Thursday's squeaky ring time.
It's the biggest league game that we've had for years, if you think about the context of where it could take us.
Daniela says, as long as you smash Leicester, I'm sure we'll give it a good go, that's for sure.
I think
Lee says we need to practice on corners and free kicks. I mean, I know what you're saying, Lee. I mean, this is where if Matt Ritchie was now for the season, and I know people sort of looked a bit weird when I said it, but if you're to bring him on in this, or give him a half even in the second half, on the right wing, Matt Ritchie can deliver a great ball. That's the thing. We've seen it in the Carabao Cup final when he came on. That free kick he put in the box was inch perfect. Shame he's out for the season with a knee injury. Do you agree with that one, Billy?
I mean, I'd be looking to get Matt Target in because he can take the free kick in the corner as well, can't he? You can play.
Yeah, you
Target.
can. Yeah,
you can even give Botman a rest for a game and play Burn at centre half if you need to. You know, I'd be looking at getting Target in as soon as, to be honest. He's never going to get match fit sat on the bench, is he? I would as well. Yeah, I would.
No. Yeah.
No, I would.
Alan says, still not the end of the world, even if we were to lose. We just need to win the final too.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Yeah, but we don't want to be going to Chelsea like that, do we, though? That's the thing. Patrick says, any chance Leicester get a point tonight? Let's hope. Daniela says, I'd rather you get Champions League than the Red Scum from Manchester. Thank you very much indeed, Daniela. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well said. Because that's what we think of them as well. Bia says, Liverpool win tonight with an assist from Varson. Jem says, totally agree, Tony. Villa smashed us. Hopefully they get a result against Liverpool. Absolutely.
I mean, they're going to be up for it because they're always up for the big games.
Yeah.
They're still fighting for the Europa League place. They're hoping to push Tottenham out of Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Tottenham are getting results at the moment, they may not qualify for Europe at all, like Chelsea. They're dropping like a stone.
Craig says Brighton can still get 70 points.
That's providing they beat us.
Yeah. Sefton says, off we to saying all how we are Leicester City. Yeah, absolutely, Sefton. Alan says, hopefully Leicester get 3 points tonight. Well, the stadium might be hostile for Liverpool, with the fans and all those bloody clappers they have. Because them clappers do your head in, don't they?
Good, yeah.
To be honest, I'd be happy if Leicester got a point. A win would be fantastic, but a point still helps us. But at the end of the day, it's still in our hands. We do our work properly, and it doesn't matter what Liverpool or Man United do. If we win the next 2 games, we're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
If we win 2 out of 3, we're in the Champions League. It's up to us.
De Zerbi made a mistake against them with his lineup. He won't do that again.
I'm not sure about that. I think they played Everton 4 days after a massive physical and mental trial against Man United, and 4 days later they played Everton, and it's the same with the Arsenal game with us. They're going to have to be physically and mentally strong to take us on. So I'll see it as a positive, actually, the Everton result for us. A massive positive.
Yeah.
Gareth
says would like to see Leicester beat Liverpool for obvious reasons, but would love just to see Klopp have a meltdown. Jem says Everton, Leeds, and Southampton. I think Southampton's already gone, but Everton needs to join them. That's not a bad shout. Ian says I can see us getting a result against Chelsea, even if we need it.
Ooh, the pressure is massively on. You can imagine the Sky cameras will be there too. It's just I don't want to go to Stamford Bridge wanting to win. No, I really don't. Especially Big Six cartel club doing their damnedest to stop us for getting in the Champions League at one of their mates' expenses. You've got the referees, the VAR. Remember last season at Chelsea, we were robbed by the referees in VAR.
Yeah. We were well and truly robbed. Havertz should have been off for that elbow to burn.
And I forget who
should have had a penalty.
Who's that? Was it Chalobah was trying to exchange shirts with Murphy?
Yeah.
In the box.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he had his shirt pulled out, it reminds me of when he played horses in primary school when he grabbed someone's shirt. He had it pulled out so far. It was crazy.
Daniela says,
the thing that made it worse was that Havertz got the winner.
Yeah,
he should have been on the pitch.
No.
Majority of people want Everton down. Kong wants Everton and Leicester to go down. He says, I hate Everton. Godfather says Leeds and Everton. Alan says that's what's just unpredictable after this Everton 5, then Brighton 3. You never know. We are the Foxes. Yeah, absolutely. You don't know. I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Alan says for me, Southampton, Everton, and Leeds are relegated for him.
I think the thing about the Leicester game is that I'm not sure if they only got this one at home or if they got another home game.
Yeah, the last game's home to West Ham.
West Ham.
Last game of the season.
This is what
they could be relegated by then.
Yeah. They need to get points, and the best place to get points is at home. So they're going to be firing, well, hopefully they'll be firing all cylinders. And I hope that Maddison and Tielemans and Barnes have the game of their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool's midfield is slow, and they have got they've got a Wickham at the back as well. You know, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm convincing myself that Leicester are going to win now. I'm talking myself into it.
Yeah. Especially if Madison gets a free kick from outside the area.
Oh yeah.
Mate, that's the stupid thing about where Leicester are. If they've got quality players, and they should be nowhere near where they are.
No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't.
But they are. So
See,
I think
Madison,
all season people have been waiting for Leicester the real Leicester to turn up. And it looks like until Leicester has turned up and it's shite.
Hopefully, old man Vardy's had his old man Steptoe's had his Sonata gin before he goes out on the pitch tonight.
I mean, Madison might step up and play tonight because you may think, oh, do you know what? If we beat these, we'll help Newcastle get in the top 4. So
he might.
Because he might be wanting to get a move to us, mightn't he? So who knows?
Yeah, the thing is, when he comes up to the match at St James's Park, what we should do is give him a tour of St James's Park and the facilities before the game. So I want to play there and I want to play Champions League. Maybe I shouldn't play well today.
Daniela says European final 10 days after the end of the season. We not put weak sides out in the last 2 games. I don't think you will, to be fair. I think you'll... Even if you did put a weak side out, those players will up their games to make sure they're in that European final squad. So,
and I hope they do it as well. I hope West Ham do beat Alkmaar. I hope they win the whole lot because West Ham have been a catalyst for what we've done this season. They've challenged the top 6 the past 3 seasons. And we've all cheered for them, and it's failed at the last hurdle. And that's why really the rest of the not big 6 should be cheering us this season.
Yeah, I think they will win, although a decent side and played well. I think once they scored, West Ham actually woke up and actually started playing. I think at the London Stadium, I think they'll win.
Leicester brought Johnny Evans back in.
Have they?
Is far sight?
No, Soyuncu is.
Foxy says Tony Roly and the Goat Billy. Good evening, Foxy.
Hi, Foxy.
I remember the Europa League game Europa match when it was Glenn Roeder was in charge of Newcastle. So that's going back a bit. And I was in the Milburn stand, lower tier, and we played Alkmaar in the Europa League, and Louis Van Gaal was manager. We won that first leg. Yeah, we won that first leg 4-2.
Huntelaar.
That's the teeth.
Huntelaar, remember?
Huntelaar, yeah. Huntelaar.
He had bigger teeth than Fernandes and Klopp put together, he did.
He did, didn't he? Yes, absolutely. But I remember that game, we won it 4-2 at home. And I remember a fan next to me, and he said, he says, that's all right. He says, we're through at the next round now. I went, no, we've got another leg to play. And he went, yeah, he says, we've won this now. And I went, I says, don't count your chickens. He says, why? I says, because that man in the dugout there, I says, for Alkmaar, Van Gaal, I says, he's one hell of a manager. I says, and this is why I said the guy, I says, wouldn't put it past him to go out there, beat us 2-0, and we go out because they go through on the wheel goals. And he went, oh, no, that'll not happen. What happened? We lost 2-0. Yeah. Because Van Gaal's a very clever manager, and that's the thing,
His teeth scored, didn't he, as well?
Yes, he did, yes.
And then ended up at Real Madrid somehow.
Jem says Scott McTominay would be good cover for Longstaff. He's been a pivotal player in our squad and a miss now he's injured. McTominay might have helped fill that void.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But you say at the right price.
Yeah, at the right price, so.
Not 50 million.
Lee says, we are going to get some big shock sign in the summer. Eddie keeps quiet about. Yeah, he will do. Hanging with my normies says, evening all. Tonight I'm a Fox. I think, yeah. Well, hopefully with Foxy being in the chat, he's going to bring luck as well for the Foxes tonight. Matey Max says, Tony, I see your top transfer is getting its rounds today. Dominic Szoboszlai. Yeah, Dominic Szoboszlai. Do you know what? He's a quality player. I mean, 41% accurate crosses per game. Absolutely fantastic. Craig says if we go gung-ho, they will punish us. Yeah, I think Eddie will watch the Arsenal game back, and the thing is, Eddie's not daft. He will get that sorted out, and he will make sure the team's well tuned for Thursday night. Plus,
That's
remember,
right.
it's going to be under the lights as well. We always have a great game under the lights.
Well, that's why we can't concede first as well. We must definitely not concede first against Brighton, because if we do, we're in deep doo-doo.
Oh, God, yeah, definitely, Billy. Alan says, we need to take notice of where the Hammers have went wrong this season in the league, managing Europe and Premier League campaign. Yeah, because the last time we got the Europa League under Alan Pardew, the year after, because obviously the Fat Cockney decided not to invest in the team properly, we struggled that season.
He didn't want to enter it, did he? He asked the FA if we could. Did we have to enter the Europa League? Could we pull out of it? And
Yeah.
there was no money in it for him. There's no advertising because of the Europa League rules, and we might have to get big plane journeys to Russia and places like that. So he actually asked if we could pull out of it. That's the sort of owner we had then.
Yeah. Jack's in the chat. Good evening, Jack. One of your mates as well, Billy. Toon TV says, evening, Tony. Szoboszlai deal really picking up. That's interesting. Alan says, McTominay for me. Let him rock with the wood worn at Old Trafford. Hanging with me, Nomi says Marcus Thuram. Yeah, we should be all over that free transfer. What's to say we haven't got an agreement in place and that nobody knows about it? Craig says, if we go for Szoboszlai, we may go for Haidara too, same club. Yeah, Amadou Haidara, he's not a bad defensive midfielder. There's a few out there. I mean, Billy, right, Southampton have gone down.
Yeah.
Would you take Lavia?
I certainly would, but I don't think there's any chance of it because Man City have got a buyback clause, haven't they?
I
think Man City will be all over that.
Yeah. Where do you think Ward-Prowse will go? I reckon he'll go to London.
Yeah, every chance of it. I wouldn't want him at our place, to be honest. I don't think he suits our style of play, but he's a hell of a player.
No. Yeah. He could even end up at Brighton, who knows?
Possible, yeah.
Daniel says, just a question. How long would you say your manager has for Newcastle have to win a trophy before your owner start looking at the manager? There's no pressure on Eddie Howe at the minute.
No pressure at all.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was a 5-year project, wasn't it? And we're after 1 year, so he's got plenty of credit in the bank if we don't win a trophy for 2 years or 3 years even.
Brian says, aye, big up all being miles away today. Hope you've been somewhere nice in there, Brian. Gary D says, we're all Leicester City tonight, aren't we, lads? Absolutely. Yeah. Brian says, come on, Leicester, a point will do the lads and lasses. Hanging with me, Normie says, a Klopp meltdown, I'm here for it. Mason says, Leicester will probably do a late show, then make it dark and illuminate Klopp's gnashers.
like Star Wars, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's got some gnashers as Klopp. Guys, if you do like the show, then please smash a like. It does help the channel. And also, if you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe and bell notification. Will tell you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. Hanging with me, Normie says, I hope Vardy can turn back the airs tonight against the Scousers. That would be great, wouldn't it? Alan says, no, we don't want to go to Stamford Bridge needing something, but that might be what happens. I think we would beat them there the moment they're a mess. I mean, Forest went down there, Billy, and got a 2-2 draw. I mean, Forest, if they hadn't have been a bit sloppy in that defence for the first goal, they could have probably won that game. But that one, he looks some player, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. The past couple of games have been brilliant, hasn't he?
4 goals in 2 games. Ex-Liverpool striker as well.
I just think Chelsea are going to turn up sooner or later, and against us, they always seem to turn up, especially at Stamford Bridge. I don't fancy going there needing to win.
Bias says a Vardy goal tonight through Van Dijk's legs. Goldfather says, how old's Vardy now? He's about 48, isn't he? No, he's 36 or something, isn't he?
To be honest, I mean, what would be funnier than a goal through Van Dijk's legs would be a Alexander-Arnold own goal.
Yeah. Foxy says, not sure why.
Dear.
Yeah, Foxy says, I'm not sure why people think Ashworth's the reason behind Brighton signing these gems. It's simply not true. It's all about Tony Bloom and Star Lizard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Tony
yeah,
Bloom's
not
only the
all Dan
owner, isn't he?
Ashworth.
Well,
Yeah.
Ashworth was in control of the network and the scouting as director of football.
Yeah.
So he's the one that obviously brought them on board and set up the network and runs it.
He's the one that's told Tony Bloom which players what they are and what he thinks they're worth.
Yeah.
Originally was.
Well,
Andrew says, I'm going for a 7-0 win for Leicester. Whatever you're drinking, Andrew, I want some of that as well, mate. Brian says, not normally the spiritual person, but sending positive vibes to Leicester right now. Yeah. Keep sending them, Brian. Keep sending them, mate. Biassi is a Conference League stadium with 22,000 capacity. If West Ham get through, they'll only get 4,000 tickets. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Who dreams these stadiums up? I mean, they should look at the teams that's in these competitions and think,
I think they
give
probably
them a bigger stadium.
I think they probably did and thought, well, probably West Ham won't get there and all the teams are small. Just, I mean, they played some... What was it? They played... Not before they played Ghent. They played... Oh, God, some team from Lanzarote or something like that. Was one of the sort of islands in the Mediterranean. Well, the one with the party island in the Mediterranean. I forget what it was.
Mallorca.
Oh,
No.
Ibiza.
Yeah, I think it was Ibiza or something like that. And I didn't even realise they had a team. We thought they'd go down to the beach before game time, ask if anyone's got some boots. What's the game?
Patrick says, did you see T-Rex yesterday trying to reach the Gundogan free kick? I mean, I don't know what he was trying to do with that Pickford. It was hilarious, wasn't it?
He used to give a penalty away yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Pickford.
Yeah. He's not that great of a keeper that people think he is. Alan says it's a Papa's John's pizza tournament Euro conference. Rather miss that with the league on form.
We can't qualify for that now, so there's no need to worry.
Daniela says if we do win the European Conference League, does that mean English clubs will give more respect to West Ham? Well, they should do.
They'll probably say, you should have won it because there's the standard of the teams in there. You should win.
Jem says, didn't Billy have some MA posters? I'm not saying they were on his wall, because I don't like to mention that. I don't like to mention that man's name because I can't stand that man for what he done to our club.
I've certainly spat on a few. Nothing about happening.
Yeah. Foxy says, not sure if it's official, but think Man City only have the buyback clause on Lavia. Yeah, that's exactly what Billy said as well, yeah. Daniela says, James Ward-Prowse might end up with West Ham or Spurs. Could well do. I think you want to stay near Southampton, so I think London would probably be the answer for him.
I mean, West Ham are going to have to replace Declan Rice. They're going to have to replace Declan Rice somewhere, aren't they? So it makes sense for West Ham, really.
Nate says, I wish we'd take a look at Alex Scott from Bristol City. He's one for the future. Yes, he is, absolutely. We were linked to him. I don't know what's happening with that, but I know Annie's not happy about it if he goes. That's what happens when there's a young players coming through, innit?
Yeah, lots of clubs asking for him 25 million quid they want, so...
West Ham versus Chernobyl City in the final. My money's on Chernobyl, says Bia. Daniela says West Ham's not lost in Europe this season so far. Excellent.
I think they've won all their games.
Yeah. I meant the Conference League. Yeah, absolutely. Paul says almost match time. Hope you're all well, Tony, Billy and Roly. How are the chat? Yeah, we're absolutely fine. You've got to head off soon, haven't you, Billy?
I've got to head off now, in fact.
Yes, because you've got to be the roving reporter for Paul tonight.
I'm going to the King Power now. I should be there now, really. They're all coming on the pitch already.
Make sure you're getting your helicopter then.
I will. Well, no, I'm not getting on helicopters where Leicester's concerned. Sod that for Game of Soldiers.
Yeah. But,
Not for me, but there you go. Come on, Leicester.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Come on, Leicester. Definitely.
Thanks for having us on, Tone, and see you later, Roly.
No
Cheers,
problem, Billy. Anytime,
Ta-ra,
mate. Anytime, Billy. See you later, my friend.
Ta-da.
Cheers, Billy.
Yep, so that's Billy's away now because he's going to be the roving reporter for Paul tonight. He's going to be reporting on the game with Leicester City versus Liverpool. So let's hope Billy's got himself gets himself all shortened up and ready to do the duties. Daniel has meant the Conference League. Yeah, shouting for the Foxes, Paul. Absolutely, Alan. And because they're playing teams like Ibiza says, go for that. Yeah, I mean, guys and girls, I mean, it's been a cracking show tonight. I mean, great to have Billy on. He's a fantastic guy. I like Billy. I really do. I am Leicester tonight, says Paul. Absolutely. Daniela says, if we win the conference, Rice might end up staying if our price is not met. Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, I mean, don't rule anything out, Daniela, at the end of the day, funnier things have happened. So
if they win the conference, they qualify for the Europa?
Yes, they do, yeah. He wouldn't want to stay at a Tin Pot Club in Bristol, says Mason about Alex Scott. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, we'll come to the end of the show, guys. And if you've liked what you see, then please smash that like. It does help the channel with search results, so smash those likes. And also, if you are brand new to the channel, then please smash the subscribe and come and join this great community. And also, bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. Roly, do you want to let people know where they can find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Pols67.
Yep, so if you're on Twitter, give Roly a follow at Pols67. And he will follow you back. Daniela says, good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much. And good luck for you as well, Daniela. And I do hope you win that conference final because one of my best mates I work with, he's a West Ham fan. And I've said to him, I hope you win the cup. Foxy says, Brighton scouting work is all to do with Star Lizard. He was set up long before Ashworth even arrived at Brighton, meeting signings like McAllister, for example. Oh, you're absolutely right, Foxy. Yeah, I, for one thing, didn't think it was all down to Dan Ashworth. Lee says, been great tonight, Tony and Roly. Been great seeing Billy on as well. Absolutely. And I'm sure Paul didn't mind him moonlighting on here tonight because Paul doesn't mind. He's all right because he's a good friend of mine, Paul, so that's good. Ian says, great show, guys. See you later as well, Ian. For me, you can find me at Tony31. So give me a follow and I'll follow you back. I'll be back tomorrow with the match preview. So that'll be at around 7 p.m. And hopefully, I'm just waiting for a message back. I'll hopefully have a Brighton fan on as well. So keep an eye out for that one. So I'm just waiting for him to get back to me and sort somebody out to come on. So we'll do the Brighton preview tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So that's what's coming up on the channel. But yeah, it's been a fantastic show tonight. We've had a good old chat there and about all sorts, and everybody in all comments have been absolutely fantastic again, as usual, as they always are. Great to have you all on board. And just remember, the future's bright, the future's black and white. And until the next show, we'll see you later. So bye-bye from me.
Bye-bye from me.
Away the lads.